Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Callie.
Hi.
Hi, Bobbi.
Hi.
Where are you from?
I'm Lorenzo. I'm from the UK, from England.
I'm Callie. I'm half English, half Belgian. I was born in England, raised in France, and now I live in Norway, in Oslo. I'm from California, the US, and my name's Bobbi.
Do you like your country?
Not really, no.
I kind of like France, but I prefer Norway. Yeah, Norway is my favorite. So, I do for the most part. There's things I don't like about it, but yeah.
What's the pros and cons of living in US?
So one of the cons is healthcare and education. Even though they're both really good quality, they're way too expensive and they're not provided easily for people. You have to either have a lot of money or find a good job that provides healthcare for you. And same thing with education. It's super expensive and most people have a lot of debt and they have to pay it off for years and years. And yeah, it shouldn't be like that because the US has a lot of money. So it's like, where is all that money going and why are things so expensive for the citizens? And also another one that I almost didn't say because it's so normalized in our country is guns. We have like a huge issue with guns. Lots of school shootings, lots of shootings in general, lots of people die from guns. And like, I've never been affected by it, but yeah, it happens a lot. So yeah, when you think about it, it's scary and it doesn't even make sense. Also, another issue, which is probably prevalent worldwide, is racism and sexism. That's like a huge issue. The police are very unfair, especially towards black men. You can watch the videos, they're all over YouTube. But yeah, that's a huge issue that we've always had. And I guess it's getting better, but it's still like terrible. And another con is that we work a lot and we're always in a hurry. Like being in the US, I feel very stressed out, like working or studying. It's just we're like a super hard working culture, which is good if you want to earn money and be productive, but it takes a toll on emotional health. And most people don't really take vacations or they only get short vacations. And yeah, it just feels like you're always in a rush and you're always working, and I don't know, it's not healthy to live like that. Okay, on to the pros. Probably one of the biggest pros about the US is there's lots of opportunity, lots of jobs, and typically a higher standard of living. Obviously, not for everyone, but if someone wants to go to the US and get a job and work and save money and move up, they can do it. It's gonna be hard, and it's obviously harder for women and people of color, but there still are opportunities there. And yeah, I know it's better than some other countries. Like, for example, lots of people like to travel or to migrate from Mexico and lots of other countries because they know that they can have like a higher standard of living in the US. They can earn more money, support their families. So I'm not saying, the US is better than these countries, but that's one of the appeals of the US is that you can get a job and you can earn money and live like a better life, at least financially. Another good thing is there's lots of diversity. We're a country of immigrants, and so there's lots of languages and different types of food and different people, mostly in big cities. Obviously, they're just full of people from all over the world, and that's how I learned Spanish. Being from California, there's tons of Spanish speakers, so yeah, it's cool to be from a place where people are from all over. Also, we're efficiency and customer service and getting things done is another pro, because since we work so hard and we're always in a hurry, things get done pretty fast. So that's good if you are the customer, but if you're the person working, it kind of sucks.
What's the pros and cons of living in England?
The weather is rubbish. The weather's really, really bad. One thing that really annoys me is that public transport is really, really expensive in the UK. It's cheaper for us to fly to Europe most of the time than it is to visit other parts of the country. So for me to get to Manchester, it's like over £100 normally. But I can fly to Barcelona for like €30, maybe even less. So that's really good. I think the rent and cost of living generally is really expensive. So I think proportionally, you'd have less money in the UK. Even though you might earn more, I think generally the cost of living is quite a bit higher. And the other thing is, I think the food's generally quite bad. In terms of cuisine, it's not as interesting as other parts of the world. You can still find really good food because it's like, for something like Indian food, any kind of food which is globalized. You can find some of the best in the world, because there's some of the best restaurants in the world are in London. So that's really good. But I think generally the standard of food isn't that great, and the quality of the produce is like, sometimes good, but sometimes kind of just meh. I think like the quality of education is generally pretty good. The higher education in the UK is really, really good, especially for universities. So if you want to study abroad, I'd really, really recommend it.
So what's the pros and cons of living in Norway and France?
So I say that the cons of living in France is that most shops or anything are closed on Sundays. But then sorry. Also, like anything to do with bureaucracy, administration and paperwork is just really slow and inefficient. Also, strikes in France are quite frequent. And pros. So I used to live in the south of France, and the weather in the south of France is really nice. The cost of housing as well down south is really cheap. The healthcare system in France is very good and it's like free. And also, like if you're struggling or anything, you can get a lot of help from the government. Like if you don't earn enough money, or if you have a lot of children and you can't like manage to pay for everything or stuff, you can get help from the government. I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, Norway?
Norway. Like the cost of living in Norway is really expensive. I really noticed it at the beginning when I was there, but now I kind of got used to it. And then once you find a job, because the wages are a lot higher in Norway, you don't really notice the cost of living that much. Like the post, the mail and stuff to receive letters and everything is really, really slow in Norway, but you also get used to it. It's not that bad. And the pros, the outdoors, like everyone in Norway goes outside all the time, even during the winter. You see like families outside going hiking or winter sports or just anything. They're like just outside all the time. And also, everyone in Norway speaks like perfect English. It's really good once you've moved there, because like if you don't know Norwegian, then you can just go around knowing English. But then if you do want to learn Norwegian, it's kind of hard when everyone just speaks English as well. It's kind of both. I love Norway.
Do you want to live your rest of your life in US?
Not the rest of my life. I definitely want to travel more and live other places and experience more. Yeah, so no. My answer is no.
No, I wouldn't want to live in the UK forever. I do want to spend more time living there later in my life, but I'd rather live in Europe so that I can kind of retain my European citizenship and then have that freedom of movement so that I can live wherever I'd like. Well, I feel like I don't want to stay in one place forever, so I want the option to be able to move around.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to live in France for the rest of my life, because I feel like I've spent enough time there, even though it's very nice. Also, as Lorenzo says, I don't think that I would want to stay in the same place, but if I had to, I could see myself living in Norway. Yeah. Callum's the best. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe.